My name's Michael Render. They call me Killer Mike. And this is Conversate. I just want to conversate. I just want to conversate with you. I want to convert. Conversate. What's up? Conversate with Killer Mike this week, man. I got right across from me, our man.
Oh, I'm Bear. We don't have Swift, so I don't have nobody to be like, shut up.
Nah, he was drinking a little bit last night.
I'm Big Bear. Shout out to Dr. Cutmaster Swift, who's not here with us today.
Shouts out, man. I got a friend, man. I dare say you back before the internet was so corrupt, you had to join a team and hate other people. You could meet people that you thought were interesting, and I found truly someone I built a cool friendship and relationship with. His name is Mickey Schuch. He's the founder of Carry Trainer, a nationally recognized firearms and self-defense training organization. His work emphasizes a holistic approach to personal protection that goes beyond shooting mechanics or even permits and that mind state. He's about responsibility awareness and real-world decision-making. He teaches pistol, rifle, shotgun, personal protection concepts while building a strong training community both in person and online. I'm a fan and a friend of this man. This is Mickey Schuch, man. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. Mick's been trying to make this happen for like 2-3 years, too.
Mick said I'm Grumpy Bear.
He's kind of a grumpy. When you just said there was nobody here to tell you to shut up, I wanted to, but I didn't want to.
Don't worry, I'm not going to say much.
Catch a
I'm not going to say much. I just want to listen and learn. I'm here as a student all the time. I'm blessed to be in the room with some pretty interesting people and work with one of the most interesting persons on the planet. Yeah. So I get to learn a lot. I get to challenge a lot of my ignorant thoughts and beliefs and grow and evolve. So.
That was all like a lot of really smart stuff. You're usually quiet. You got all kinds of stuff up there.
I do.
These guys know each other from the road where Mick brought Dave Chappelle his Bluetooth
I was so
speaker,
pissed.
and Dave kept the party going another 4 hours backstage.
Yeah, you were very, I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me?
In the morning,
I'm like, get the speaker.
Man, go get your goddamn speaker from him so we can go to our fucking
Dave
room.
smoking cigarette like, hold on.
One more song.
He plays Nirvana.
You guys could have told me.
Nah, man.
You were being nice.
Well, I thought it was your guys' friend. I was trying to help.
It is.
We wanted to go home too.
Nah, I was having a ball. Yeah. I like you a lot.
I hope so. You invited me here.
Yeah, and I've grown a relationship with you, but there's such division in this country, and there's such baiting of people to pick different sides. You as a white heterosexual man who shoots, me as a black heterosexual guy that shoots. A lot of times we're pitted against each other. You're left, you're right, you're Republican, it's a lot of shit that gets in the way. If I just met a great person when I met you.
Thank you.
I met a person that not only that I saw online was pushing for everyone to get better knowledge, wisdom, understanding of firearms, personal protection, self-awareness, being around. I saw a person that when misstepped, you took the time to listen to your black fans and followers to say, hold on, inform me about this. You didn't immediately
I don't know if I misstepped.
Well,
but
from our side,
perceived
misstep. What from our side, from the black side, it was a misstep. I don't even remember the incident, but from the black side, I was just like, oh, Mick, hold on a second. But you didn't put up a defense. You didn't immediately fight. You took time. It was.
Do you remember? Because I don't.
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying.
I think what happened was, so I share a lot of short clips of violence. Mm-hmm. It could be two dudes shooting each other. It could be some guy runs his mouth, somebody pops him. And then we just kind of like put a couple paragraphs. And it's not like never do this because somebody will punch you, but more along the lines of like, hey, couldn't you just say to the guy, excuse me, take the parking space and then not get your tooth broken? And maybe with a little more thoughtful conversation around it.
I just had that happen to me earlier, and
You in like an actual situation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he came outside and he talked the person down.
Because you were like...
I was like...
Do you know who I am?
No, I didn't say anything.
I know, I was just kidding. But I think what happened was there was maybe a string of 3 or 4 videos where the bad person was black.
No, it wasn't one of those. It was one of those. It was one of the
somebody
things.
Said you only share videos where there's...
No, it wasn't one of those. It was one of the ones where if and it's the reason I tell people, get people in your friendship circle that are not like you, didn't grow up like you, grew up different, because you can find common ground. It was one of those things where it was a black and white issue, meaning you put it up from a point of view standpoint, blacks or whites are going to see that different. as a black follower of his and just knowing his character, and a few other guys popped up like, yo, Mick, what's up? Mick, I knew you wanted to disappoint me. And it caused me and Mick to go in the DM and just talk like, hey, Mick, this is how they're singing it. For him to say, Mike, that's not how I mean. I'm like, I get it. And I talked to the other guys like, Mick's that's not his heart. And it got leveled out very easily because he was willing to say, I might not be right. I don't think I'm wrong, but I
didn't intend any harm to anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't, but that's part of what I really respect about you. I don't have to always agree with my friend.
Sure.
But I know that this person gives a damn about himself, his community. He gives a damn about me in a way that doesn't attach itself to a program or system that other people are pushing. It's just genuinely what Mick feels or thinks. And that's how our friendship really began to blossom. And I've appreciated it.
I appreciate you appreciating it.
Why do you give a shit about Americans' First and Second Amendment rights? Why do you give a damn about other people who don't look like you? Your childhood was no golden staircase. Why do you give a damn about people in the way you do? I know you've told me I've had 8 friends that are murdered, Mike. But it can't just be the pain of losing those friends that drive you to do such good.
I don't know if I do such good, but isn't it weird?
I think you do good from my perspective.
Thank you. But this vacuum that we live in, where for what you just said, I will post something and we were just talking about while you guys were getting here about what happened in Minneapolis. Yeah. And I shared some comments on that. So somebody said, man, I followed you for years. Based on that, I can never follow you again. Well, first of all, I didn't levy any judgment either way. I just commented about what I saw. But then I thought, even if I disagreed with you, notwithstanding saying that I hate somebody because of their color or sexual proclivities or whatever, but it was just a conversation. You never can look at me again now, so you only can hang out with people that okay, I only listen to Leonard Skinner or Tupac or whatever.
You got good taste.
I drink this beer and listen to this sportscaster, and that's it. So outside of that, I can't know you. That's fucking weird.
What's dangerous about that? About dropping people or wanting to cancel? Because I get that a lot in my comments. Somebody's going to see this.
People want to drop you.
Somebody's going to see I'm having a conversation with a white heterosexual man, and they're going to assume that for some or something we're going to agree on something, and that's going to be the Michael that sold us out. So you read those comments.
We just did a class in Central Florida.
Yeah,
and we had 5 guys, all retired from Miami-Dade. One of them ran pretty much the sheriff's office. One ran the forensics. They all ran shit. Now they're all retired. All black guys. They were the coolest dudes. And I love these guys because they always joke with me because I'm like the white dude that they joke with.
Yeah.
And that's not that I get them, but I got no problem poking back.
Talking shit.
Yeah, we had 3 days of fun, man. One of them we called on the way back and he wants to come and hang out again. And it was lovely. I think the whole color of our skin thing, I really don't get. It's pigmentation. So that has nothing to do. When you and I used to talk years ago, you told me one time the story, I'm sure your listeners have heard you tell it, that you learned to sew.
My grandma.
Yeah. And your grandma learned to sew from a woman that was literally related to someone that was an enslaved person, right? Is that how the story goes?
Yeah, well, my grandmother learned how to sew from her mother. Her mother had been enslaved, and her mother taught her how to sew.
So just like a couple generations.
And I knew my great-grandmother.
Sure. So that completely changes your worldview. Mm-hmm. And so I get that shit, but to just say well, I'm this color, you're that color, so this.
Yeah, well, that's not. I hear people I hear a lot of frustrated white folks saying that too. I'm just colorblind. No, we're not colorblind. We see each other,
of course.
But let's all the color stuff is about 550 years old. The Catholic Church introduces it. It needs a reason in Spain to say these people are Moors or dark. These people are Jews. These people have to be expelled. These people have to be subjected to services. So they get permission from the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church then pushes the idea of racism and the lower beastly races being able to be used by the Catholic Church more. And it goes on for a few hundred years. And then eventually the UK, other places started to ban it. America bans it. But racism was introduced via a power in the church that should never have been. And with that said, Jane Elliott has an amazing...
Who?
Jane Elliott.
Okay.
She's a woman who after
I think you've told me about
I've told you about Jane. But I want you to watch your documentary because it kind of she says, there's no purely black or what purely white people say. We're all shades of brown. You know what I mean? And and essentially what made you lighter and me darker is whoever walked out of Africa into Europe, got lighter, hair got longer to cover it, eyes were lighter, more recessive genes happened, and you stayed in Africa close to the equator. Your body had to have more dense melanin, so the sun doesn't damage it. We're human beings. We are.
What color did Stan call me the other day? Mauve.
Your mom? I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Call me mauve.
But what?
So your question, I just wanted to make sure that I was on the same page as what you were saying. So, I mean, I don't give a shit what color you are.
Yeah.
I care about what you do or don't do.
If the cops pull us over, I give a fuck that you do the talking first.
Say that again.
If the cops pull us over, I give a fuck that you do the talking.
And that's something I'll never understand, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not being a smartass about
I know.
it. So that kind of shit I do appreciate.
Yeah.
Just from the perspective of it's not something I'll never know what it's like for the women to carry a child or anything else.
Yeah.
There's certain things I'll never get to, and grateful that I don't have to experience. But I mean, I think our life is so short. I woke up with her this morning, and I've been trying to tell myself when I get up, like, don't waste today.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're not children, and you and I got some gray.
Yeah, we got some gray over here. Yeah.
And it's like, what do we got? 40 years, 30 years, 50 years? If we're like crazy lucky, like if we're like old people.
It's crazy to me. You don't seem like you waste a lot of days. I mean, I wake up some days, I go on your shit, I'm like, man, let me go take my 3-mile walk. I'm not going to waste a day. You're already up on the fucking suicide line doing balances and shit, holding knives and guns and shooting shit like that. And you don't look like you wasted a lot of days, man.
But what if you could still be doing stuff but have a bad attitude?
I understand.
And I do that too, where I mean, I have to apologize to her. I'm sorry I'm being an asshole.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm maybe being an asshole to her, but I'm, cursing at drivers out the window or just being an angry jerk because shit ain't going the way I want. And we do all this training stuff. He and I were talking before we started about martial arts.
Yeah.
That stuff's fun, but I don't have like blown discs in my neck for fun. I do it so that if somebody tries to hurt me or my family, I can protect myself. So like, I don't want to protect an asshole.
Yeah.
So I should be like worthy of protecting and be like a dad or a brother or a friend that's worth protecting. So that's kind of like my thought. And I think that's the people that come train with us.
So when you talk about what I love about watching you and you talking about training, when you talk about holistic approach, you talk about situational awareness. I've seen you do things in terms of safety, how to stop bleeding, how to, you've done more than just, hey, this is how to carry a gun and look like you're John Wick. What brought you to guns?
Sure.
And what brought you to the holistic, and what is the holistic approach in terms of gun handling and firearm ownership and use?
Sure. That's a good question. So this guy, you train decades, right? Martial arts. Yeah. So like he's got all this training.
Humbly.
But you're in saying that means that you're truly an artist, because if some dude that spent a couple months that you grab assing around with his buddies, that guy doesn't know anything, but you start to know enough where shit, I know some things, so that means I don't know what any of these dudes know. Absolutely. So I don't want anybody to put their hands on me unless I have to. You don't know that, like you saw his pocket knife. Like you looked at that and you're like, oh, dude's got a pocket knife on him. Check, like you start seeing that stuff and thinking about it. It's the gun is the ultimate defense. The ladies here, I think every dad should make their daughter capable with a firearm.
So my 28-year-old daughter is in here. She just asked me for a Glock today, and I told her we'd have to do classes before
we just were on the phone with a friend of mine today that let us know his daughter just got raped at college, and they're doing nothing to the guy, and it's there's a really shitty story around it. That's the 10th friend of mine whose daughter got raped in college, and I knew her as a little girl. I was crying listening on the phone. I'm like, man, this is freaking horrible. And a gun doesn't fix that.
Yeah.
A gun could have in like a split second, but why are you with this dude? Where were you? All of these different things. And it's a simple tool that in a very narrow parameter of bad things, it's the solution. Yeah. Right? I can't fix a nut with a hammer. I need a wrench. Yeah. So it's for a specific problem, but when you need it, right?
How important is gun ownership and gun and preparedness for use for Americans right now in these times?
You asked a minute ago when I derailed you into the race thing for a minute. we are the last country on earth that has the freedoms we have. I know people will listen and they're like, F that, I want to go to this country or that country.
You don't.
You know, like they don't like the president. I don't like a lot of the stuff that our president says, does. He acts like a, foul-mouthed dirtbag and, disrespectful, etc. Like, I'm just saying from the perspective of all the things that we have, I just drove unfettered across state lines with all the things that I travel with. You've got marijuana in front of you, or is that tobacco?
It's marijuana.
Okay. So, like, and nobody's coming in here to stop you. And, like, we've got a pretty nice life here. If we need to eat, we can go we got bottled water that, it's pretty nice here. And it was because a lot of freaking people worked their ass off to do it. And we got crime problems. We've got all kinds of issues. Our founders had this concept that they didn't create. The Greeks and the Romans had this idea of civic virtue, which is this, I own this city as a member of it. I own the state. I own this country. And it's pretty basic, right? It's the golden rule. And I got to give back to the community. I'm no picture of perfect servitude. I've done criminal shit in my life, but I, as an adult, look and it's like, all right, what's my role in this? I can complain. Firearms, the morons that are like, let's shoot the government officials or, like take a stand with arms. That's a folly. You're not going to fight the government. A bunch of hillbillies aren't going to go fight the government with their rifles and win. And guys will hear this and they'll hate me for it. I was involved in politics for years. We passed legislation on a statewide level and was involved in cases up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Could hillbillies not do it though, Mick? I mean, you think about it. So
no, because it requires leadership. It requires
organization,
service, or organization, sacrifice. You ain't going to see your wife for the next couple of months. You're going to be
egos.
Yeah, it's just me and you in a ditch.
Selfless.
So what about the people who pop up and say, well, the only reason you guys won the American Revolution was less about you had an organized militia, in which we did. George Washington had a hell of an organized militia. It's Black History Month. Shout out to Crispus Attucks, who was the first person to die in the Revolutionary War.
True.
Having to be a black man, but that's for all Americans. But the thing about the Revolutionary War, they say part of the reason we won was guerrilla warfare. You had farmers who were armed with long guns. And if the redcoats were marching 12 miles or somewhere, by the time they got to the march, they lost half a platoon because farmers would pick out from trees. But even that, I guess, would be organized because farmers would have to be communicating amongst each other. The redcoats
and they were not fighting what is now the United States government with trillions of dollars of weaponry. And people that hear me sometimes, recently guys were calling me like a liberal anti-American bootlicker. I'm the farthest thing from it. But I've got friends that are Green Berets, Army Rangers, absolutely. Navy SEALs. No, we're not going to go beat these guys up. I've got a friend that flew an F-16. We're not going to go stop these guys. But how do you do it? Well, you change who's in office. You change who's your mayor. You and I used to talk about this stuff.
Hyper-local politics.
Change what you can locally. Because the mayor is the guy that goes and runs for state rep or state senator. And that guy goes and becomes the governor or that girl.
Absolutely.
And so and then we have, go look at voter polls. People don't vote. So the thing about this like gun thing, we've kind of got this idea in our space, Bennett and I, control what you can control.
Absolutely.
I can't control either of you guys. I can't control anybody but me, what I do, who I talk to, how I talk to them. And I can control like, hey, if, he and I were just talking about firearms before we started. If my friends and I all make good choices with our firearms. That doesn't mean shooting the right guy, but like I train safely. I know what I'm doing. I know and understand the law. And then I couple that to a mindset of not engaging in violence that doesn't need to be. Well, that's really good because now cops aren't doing stupid stuff they shouldn't have to do. And then in addition, maybe I'm like raising kids that are not growing up to be.
The mindset of the typical carry trainer person seems to be a lot more grounded in actual day-to-day. I like you and your content. I like Maj in his content. I like Colin Noor in his content. For Wild Times, I like Black Rambo. Because he just
we were just with him. We were just with Black Rambo the other day.
He's just shooting shit. And I like him a lot because that's the fun factor. But he acknowledges safety. And and you can tell he's around someone that's a lot more centered. But you seem to be really on a day-to-day mind state. You deal with more than the weapon. The weapon is almost like the final thing because you talk to people about their mind state, their spirit, how they're feeling. What brought you to a point where you said mind state matters as much as technical skill? Because I've seen you train people.
Which matters way more.
Talk to me.
Well, like as skilled as he is, right? Years of training, experience, even tools. If he's not paying attention, sitting at a coffee shop with you, somebody could walk up behind him and crack him in the head with a 9-iron or a brick. And that's Muhammad Ali could get knocked out from somebody if he's not paying attention. So you've got to couple that to, and it's not even just like, where do I sit in a restaurant? How about I don't go places where this shit goes down? Or, stuff's getting rowdy, time to go home. And that's all really easy stuff. Or for example, somebody's barking at you in the street, you say, I'm sorry. And it's not about being a bitch. It's okay, let me weigh the odds here. I beat this guy and he never touches me. Cops show up, I'm screwing around with them. They look at my car, they see, some stuff in there, or just whatever. Maybe my registration's not up to date. Now, and now I'm just, I just turned
to deal with others.
That just happened
so
to Bear.
stupid.
Bear just got cursed out. Oh man, it was
it's
amazing.
Just so stupid. We're dudes. We're dudes. We're in Washington. Her I are then 13-year-old daughter. DC. We go to Arlington sometimes for the wreath ceremony.
God bless
It's super cool if anybody can ever get the chance to go. And any of the national cemeteries do it. You show up, there's like a website, and you just go and you take wreaths and place them on the graves. It's a pretty cool experience that I was happy to be proud to be part of. We go to the steakhouse in Georgetown. We've been there before. It's a cool little like jazz club.
Yeah.
And we're with two friends of ours. He's a national and world jiu-jitsu champion.
Gotcha.
I'm not either of those things, but I can take care of myself. 3 or 4 of us maybe are armed with something. And I'm holding the door. It's a winter night. And as I open the door, some shirtless dude comes running up to us, stab me. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Come on,
he's saying stab me?
And he's like from me to the monitor running at us right as I'm holding the door and they're coming out. So we get the girls in the car and he's like trying to fight and we're able to get in the truck, get him away. I'm like,
pause. White guy?
What's that? Yeah, white guy.
Okay. Just trying to make sure black folks ain't went all the way crazy.
No. He looked like he was probably like a meth head maybe.
Okay.
It was 30 degrees. He's got no shirt on.
I'm talking about that.
and he wants to engage, maybe to go to the hospital, maybe to go to jail. He's freezing. I don't know. Maybe he's just straight up nuts.
But you got the girls in the car.
Well, and they knew what to do. She knows what she's doing. The girls bladed off. We kind of like my friend that was with us, Derek. He's an infantryman. He's a super sharp dude. And it wasn't even like a big thing. Nobody thought about it. Let's not shoot this guy. Let's not touch this guy.
Yeah.
Let's do nothing. And we get him in the car, or we get in the car and drive away. And that was the end of it. Like, that's perfect. I don't want to sit here with DC's finest all night long.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if the gun didn't need to have anything to do with it,
Bear did the right thing getting cursed out, and I kind of walked out, and I
not exchanging any.
He didn't give it any.
Sure,
energy.
who gives a shit?
I mean,
who are you? What are you going to do to me?
I immediately just said, I'm sorry.
But you're smart enough to know, like, I'm sure you were watching this guy, like, because people are nuts. Is this guy going to, you see it every day on the internet
for the
now.
next hour, I waited for that person or that person's brother or that person's friend.
Because you've seen and known people that would do that.
Right. He's mentioned the word grounded. And then when he mentioned that
Who
to
did?
you, he did.
Okay.
He said, as far as you seeming to be so grounded.
Dude, I'm an angry person. I mean, like,
I know about.
Yeah.
That's what
How
I'm
do
saying.
you know
I know
that?
because I know you. Like, I've
your
known many.
intensity.
You remind me of my dad a lot. My dad was a cop.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
but I brought that up. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I brought that up because I think when you know the finality of pulling that firearm or having to hurt somebody or take somebody's life, you have to be pretty grounded in order to be mature enough to make and clear-headed enough to make decisions that are appropriate for the circumstance.
I don't want to act like I'm some badass or something like that because I'm not. But if you look at a problem enough, Like if you start to create a song, I'm sure there's some formula that you use. I don't know what it is, an idea or a sound or something. And then you build, I've got a sister and a brother that are professional musicians, and they both use a different kind of process. So like every day I look at this stuff. I've got the best lawyer in America for self-defense. His name's Andrew Branca. He comes to our events and speaks. I listen to him. I mean, you hear the shit all the time. Like a guitarist knows what an E minor sounds like. So you look at this stuff enough and you're like, that ain't going to go good. I know what that is. I know what that, where that's going. And I mean, it's even if it's just let's just throw hands, a freaking snap tooth is, even if you've got the money to pay for it, it ain't the same as a real tooth.
Nah, that's real. That's real.
It's not fun. You know what I mean?
So, what is it? What's the old saying? It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war.
Yeah.
We talk about you really are a warrior in the garden.
I don't know if I'm a warrior. I don't ever want to take that moniker, but we're basically, our mission is help expose people. So the Second Amendment that kind of allows us to have these guns. The liberals love the well-regulated part, and the conservative love the shall not be infringed. Well-regulated at that time meant trained, capable, able. It meant you had shot stocked up at your house. It meant your musket was ready to go. It meant you mustered with your townspeople.
You had got the redcoats are coming.
And you could get put in the stocks if you didn't do it. You could get in trouble. Now it's like, no, it's just my right. I'm just going to have this thing. And it's like, no, it's not how it works. I mean, if you want to go with the shall not be infringed part, you got to go with the well-regulated part. It also meant, like you were talking about, like the discipline. I'm willing to show up and sacrifice to fight. It's not just I know how to use it. It's like when the call comes out or the town bell rings, I'll go do it. And it's kind of an idiotic thing that we claim access to this right, but I'm okay with this part, but not this part. And that's stupid.
It's kind of like the First Amendment. Everyone is for the First Amendment for them. But if you don't agree with it for the motherfucker you most disagree with, you don't really believe in it.
And most people forget the Bill of Rights doesn't protect me and you from each other. No. It protects us from government.
Exactly.
Like if I say to you, you're a dumb motherfucker, and you punch me in the face, and I say it was my First Amendment right, I have no First Amendment right of free speech to you. People don't understand its basic civics.
And if you mind. Where did you get your training from?
It's a good question. So I started with a gentleman, couple guys. Bob Housingay was one. Bob was a police chief in a little town called Comanche, Iowa. Bob will probably never listen to this because he listens to AM radio, I'm sure.
We pop up on AM. Shout out to
Bob. Bob was one of the fastest pistol shooters in the world at one point.
Oh, wow.
There's a video of him out there somewhere doing bill drills, which is drawing a 1911 from the holster, hitting a target this big at 7 yards with a 45 in like 1.7 seconds, 6 rounds.
That's a lot of violence. That's a lot of violence to control.
He was really good.
My 1911 is my father's Marine favorite gun in the world.
My wife gave me one for my birthday last year.
I need one.
Beautiful
myself.
gun, man.
So he's the fastest shooter.
Well, he was. I mean,
the bullets are the size of your fucking thumb too. The 45s are fucking huge.
He was good. One time, Bob, at a class, I always carry a little J-frame 5-shot revolver with me, and he asked me for it. At about 35, 40 yards, he took it upside down. He's left-handed, so it was in his left hand, and with his pinky, at about 35 or 40 yards, shot a group of all 5 rounds like that in the head of a target.
Oh, wow.
And he wasn't showing off. He was showing the students, like, the gun will do it if you do what I'm teaching. You know, it's kind of like an illustration.
How'd you bump into Bob?
Oh, so that's a good question. So at that time, there's like, anybody can have a podcast. Anybody can learn to shoot a gun. But at the time, you read magazines. Or like when I first trained with him, you had to go to the state's attorney or sheriff, get a letter of good character, and let them know, because they don't know who they're training. These guys only train cops and soldiers.
Gotcha.
And so you show up and they're like, why are you here? And you're like, I just want to know this stuff. Because you couldn't carry a gun anywhere.
In Illinois, at the time you couldn't.
Well, 30, 40 years ago, there was no concealed carry anywhere. Florida, Texas, those were the first two. There's a great book anybody should read called From Lubies to the Legislature.
From Lubies to the Legislature.
The Lubies was a cafe all through the South.
Mm-hmm.
And
I remember that.
You remember those?
Lubies, yeah.
The woman, Susanna, who wrote the book, is in the diner with her parents. This was the biggest mass killing up until, I believe, Newtown.
Yeah.
Dude drives his car through the front of the cafeteria that's full of people eating, gets out and just is executing people sitting in a diner. I forgot how many they killed. A lot. Susanna carried a J-frame that her dad gave her to take to college.
Yes.
She was a chiropractor in that state. Like most states, if you get caught and get charged with a felony, you lose your professional licenses. So once she became a chiropractor, she left the gun at home. And she watched her parents executed next to her. So she went on and became a state rep, and I believe a congresswoman. I could be wrong, but she really pushed Texas to pass the right to carry. It didn't happen until then. I believe this was late 80s.
Yeah.
She spoke before Congress. There's a great video of her talking and giving that chilling story of looking up at this gunman and watching him shoot her parents dead, who were holding each other on the floor.
Oh, wow.
So a little side note about a really graphic side note about this idea that we couldn't carry. So it was strange. I'm from Chicago. The only people that had guns were criminals and cops. Or like some old dude that just didn't give a shit, that just had it in his pocket and wanted to be left alone.
Shout out my grandpa.
Yeah. And that's cool. But if that guy got pulled over and for some reason, he's now a felon, like it still happens in New Jersey, in Massachusetts, and some of these states. So I began seeking these guys out and traveling around the country and spending a lot of money, 6 figures of dollars of training and ammunition to go do that.
And so you grew up a kid, Christian household. You grew up, the system, seemed to be working. The
system wasn't working. So when I was 14 years old, one of our very best friends was brutally murdered and stabbed about 70 times.
In Illinois?
Yep, in my little town of Crystal Lake. And I hate to tell the story because I never want people to think that I'm commercializing her death. Her name was Beth. My sister, Karen, who's a musician, awesome singer, lovely, lovely woman. It was like a marked change in her life. They were best friends.
Yeah.
This girl spent holidays with us, went to grade school with her, and we got a phone call that she was gone. You're like, you're a kid. We've all had somebody die. It might have been a grandpa. And as a kid, it was the first child that I ever was involved with that died. And you're like, what the fuck? And in our life, there was no, other parents might have looked at it differently, but there was no, hey, let's sit down and talk about what this means and why. It was just, they're dead. Go to your room, deal with it. So my sister went and wrote music. I went and punched holes in shit. And it was like, what the fuck? So guy stabs her, a fireman, off-duty fireman that had been kind of watching her and knocked on the door when he knew nobody was home, raped her, stabbed her, lit the house on fire. And so, like, as a kid, I went and sat through the hearing and watched this guy, a little impish, 5'3". If you're 5'3", I'm not mad at you calling you an imp, but I looked at him and I'm like, how could she not, like, she was an athlete. She couldn't do shit to this guy.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it works, right? Nature made women capable of amazing things, but a guy the same size is twice as strong with way more cardiovascular endurance, etc.
Yeah.
That created like something in my brain where I thought, this is, I don't want to ever find out about another person I know killed. And it happened numerous times, which is super crazy because I live in a really sleepy, beautiful place that people move out of the city to come get to. It was dairy farms when I was a kid. The last person I know personally that was murdered was a friend of mine that was an Army Ranger. He was a captain in the Rangers.
In the same...
He was in Kentucky visiting a friend that they had an argument, and as nobody could find him, and me and another friend of mine, shout out to Joey if he hears this, kind of took it upon ourselves to start like trying to find him. He was home from job he was doing in overseas, and his family calls and is like, is my dad with you? No, we haven't seen him. He's supposed to call me. He's home at Christmas time. Like, let me know when he's around. His friend had an argument with him, drunk, followed him to the car, ultimately shot him in the back of the head, chopped him up. He's as big as you. He's a big dude. Chopped him up, put him in a barrel, and he was hiding in the barn. The police had been there. This is just 2 years ago. And this is like, just some crazy random shit. But that's what's in the world. And he was just visiting this dude to check in on an old Army buddy.
How dangerous is it? Like, I mean, shit, Mick.
An operator.
What's that?
Meaning you're talking about Green Berets.
Army Ranger. Yeah, I mean, this guy knows this.
Rangers,
but all somebody had to do is walk. He might have thought the dude was going to go, "Hey, Merry Christmas, see you later." And he walked up and dumped a magazine into his back.
So you talk about that, about like, say, the difference in shooting proficiency. You've seen people go to ranges, have an amazing shooting proficiency, but you talked about real preparedness. That's being prepared for someone to and potentially be. That's being prepared for understanding arguing over a parking spot can elevate something. What's the difference in between I go to the range, I shoot proficiently, I feel good when I leave, I've gotten de-stressed some, and being in the real world, recognizing that at any given time, chaos can ensue.
So again, I don't want to assume or have anybody ever think that I'm like some gunfighter. I've never shot somebody in violence. I hope I never do. But we can look at thousands of bits of data, just like somebody in a university would without ever doing a job, and make a informed observation about something. And if I know somebody has got ability to be violent, why do I want to hang out with them? There's a million things. Having a firearm gives you options.
Yeah.
Period. But of course, it's not. I mean, we're all in an airplane. Not everybody, but most of us been in an airplane. I got no gun. So what am I going to do? So it's a option. This idea of recognizing all trouble.
Yeah.
That's not realistic. I mean, right now we're in your building, right? We know there's doors and walls.
Yeah.
But there could be somebody coming up the stairs right now. Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
I appreciate
and
you,
he's got you. But like the building could light on fire. There's always some risk around us. So it's like,
I only got robbed next door.
What's that?
I was like, shit. Thank God it wasn't a good bit. Yeah, I got right. Well, so we rent to someone, and they I don't know, they had some confusion
Was
with
it an inside job?
I think so.
Okay. It's all about like understanding what the risk is.
Yeah.
Right? So like, what's the risk? And then what's my capacity to affect the risk?
Yeah.
I have no control over your fire suppression system or your smoke alarms. So like, there's certain things I have no control over. I have control over where I go.
Yeah.
And then really I think the biggest thing is how we respond to people. It's like your story again. And I have been on both sides of that, where I'm the guy going, you mother effer. Any man alive is a liar if they say they haven't done it. And you catch yourself, and especially the more you're exposed to violence in any capacity, everybody in this whole building could have a firearm on them for all any of us know. So you learn to, especially now, it's becoming more prevalent.
Well, that's why people in the South are so nice to each other too.
Yeah. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
absolutely.
But people forget too. Alcohol makes us not think. I mean, you got no idea what's in somebody's heart. Did they just get caught? Their wife cheating's on them, and they're out of their mind. Did they find out their dad just got diagnosed with cancer, and they don't give a shit about anything? They're angry. So you have no idea, or where they came from. Was their whole life exposed to crazy violence, and this is fun for them, or totally normal? So you might be like, getting them off. Like, yeah, dude, let's do this. Let's push ourselves to this place because I like this. Yeah. I mean, I know guys like that I grew up with.
Yeah, but you, who have been like that, like every guy's been like that, your ego has stepped in the way before your training. How did Mick get to the point where he understood not only do I have to train myself to rely upon my training versus my ego? And training doesn't mean I pull out my gun and I shoot a target well. It means how do I eliminate the situation? How do I have the propensity to walk away and say, no, I'm not going to engage in this? At what point did Mick get to the point where it's like, beyond punching holes in walls, beyond learning what I've learned, I need to understand self-control is the greatest control that I can have in any situation?
Sure.
But you have a lot of gray hair, or you did it right?
Thanks. everything for me starts with what's my goal, right?
Gotcha.
I got a buddy named Vern, a special operations dude. What's the end state? What's our desired end state? Any project manager, any architect,
Yeah.
I mean, anybody. What are we doing here? Like, well, today we're making a podcast. All right, you know, what and then what's that podcast about? You guys have notes. So my goal, go home at night.
Yeah.
But my goal is a long, full life. Full is subjective, right? For one person, full might be fill in the blank.
Yes.
Have 5 girlfriends and be lying to all of them. For another one, it might be live alone as a monk. For somebody else, it might be small business owner. Somebody else wants to be a bus driver. Whatever that is, you can't do it if you're dead or shitting in an ostomy bag or locked up in prison. I don't know anybody that's like, my idea of a good life is being locked up. So I don't want to do anything that puts me, I mean, it's really basic, stupid shit.
Gotcha. So very simple.
So anything that takes me closer to not a long, full life, don't do that. The things that take me closer to long, full life, let's do those things. Violence is one of them. Physical fitness. If I can't, a gun is only going to do anything if I can maintain distance and space and get it out of the holster. So I've got to have some physical health. Not be walking around drunk and to the point where I can't make good choices. Yeah. And I like having some beers, but if I'm at a place where I no longer can make choices, I should probably go home or good choices. Yeah. I think it's really simple, but too often we make it about the gear. And then dudes shoot themselves sitting in their lazy boy. Oh, man. So ask any cop in any town how often they go to a call. I was going to
skip this, but man, the difference between, just give me more about, you can't depend on gear and theory alone, right? So we have these theories that we've learned. If you watch them on YouTube, you have the gear, your newest holster, your newest rifles, your newest shoulder strap stuff. But what is it really that makes you proficient, in your opinion, with firearms?
Proficient where?
Proficient in terms of when and how to use them. You know, if you unholster your gun, the intention is to, at that point, get home.
What I'm asking is proficient at the range opposed to proficient on the street.
I mean, in the real world, in the real world.
So there's got to be a baseline of what people call hard skills or mechanical skills. For example, I cannot play in your band if I do not know how to at least fret a guitar. Yeah, absolutely. And you've met people that can like play cool licks, but they can't play with a group because they don't understand musical theory. Yeah. So like I can draw and shoot fast, but if I don't have gear that allows me to hide this thing on my body, so you gotta have some level of this baseline skill to marksmanship, drawing the firearm, keeping the firearm loaded. What I mean by that is if somebody grabs my gun while I'm shooting them and it becomes unloaded or malfunctions, do I just have the basic understanding how to make the gun work? Yeah. So I've got to have that basic proficiency, and then I couple that to a deployment platform, which is a fancy way of just saying like, when do I draw? And who am I shooting, and who else might be there, and who doesn't get shot. Yeah. So can I observe, for example, if somebody was where your necklace is sitting and I had to shoot them, well, our friends and women are in there. So I don't want to do that. So I need to either deal with that a different way or change the angle of my body. Yeah. So, you keep adding layers to that. Michael Jordan just shoots basketballs, right? But he doesn't just shoot basketballs. He's thinking angle. He's thinking defense. And he makes it all look very easy, but he's still doing what kids do in the driveway.
How should firearms training return to American high schools?
Because 100%.
My mother learned, she had a family from farm stuff, but she took firearms training in her fucking high school. I think in ROTC they were shooting real
Spider-Man, right? With great responsibility, or with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. You can't have. You got some cool cars. You give that car to a 16-year-old kid and they die, right? Or they hurt somebody. Yeah. So I've got to have a commensurate amount of mental capacity to deal with something that can hurt me and others. So you can have all the skill in the world. I knew a dude that was the world champion for USPSA, which is like F1 for pistol shooting.
What's that, United States Pistol Association?
Yeah, U.S. Practical Pistol Association.
U.S. Practical.
And so this is like, run around, shoot really fast. And
the Keanu shit.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly. So he learned from a USPSA shooter, Taron Butler. So this guy's way better than Taron ever was. We didn't
start any beef with you and
Taron. No. I mean, Taron won the stuff this guy won.
No beef.
So I don't care.
All right. Oh, I'll shoot it.
I can outrun him.
Yeah, I could walk.
But this dude never carried a gun.
Yeah.
He trained and won the trophy that says
But
he's
never
the best. He didn't carry a gun. Maybe he did sometimes, but it was not like his daily thing.
I got you.
So all that skill doesn't mean shit. So like you have to have a baseline level of skill. I think driving's the best example.
Yeah.
Like if you teach a new student or a new kid how to drive, you don't take them on the freeway in an ice storm.
No.
It's a parking lot or a side street. But then any one of us, by the time we were 17 years old, we got our arm around our chick, we're steering with our knee, eating a cheeseburger, flicking cigs out the window, changing the radio, and all of the stuff that was like too much to handle becomes totally normal. I think another easy example is we can pick up our TV remote and push buttons.
Yeah.
And it's just, so we need to make it where it is a very automatic function to operate the gun.
So how old are we talking? 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade?
I think that when you are 5, 6, 7 years old, if you're exposed to something like a pellet gun, not here, go have fun, but we're going to do it the same way we do it with a real gun. It is a real gun. I'm blind in this eye because of an idiot with a BB gun when I was a kid. So sorry, Chris, you were an idiot. But
Chris.
Yeah, Chris. He's a good kid. Grown man now.
Yeah.
I think if you expose them to it, just like we give.
So first BB gun for me, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah, sure.
I want my first. It's a Daisy. I begged my grandfather for it.
I love it.
I handled it responsibly for a few years. At 12 years old, he gives me a pellet gun.
All right.
And by the time you get 13, 14, yeah, exactly. Pump it up.
Pump that bitch
By the
up.
time you get 13, 14, you get your first little 22 rifle, and you're up from there. I kept guns away from my kids for a long time, basically because we weren't in the same household. They were in their mother's household. But as they got older, they're now saying, hey, this is what I think I like. Dad, you carry Glocks. What do you? So my oldest daughter and my oldest son, I'm going out with soon to do some practical training, probably with the Black Packers and my guy coach down here. And then I'm going to go ahead, but I kept them out because I wasn't there with them daily. I give you, say you're the czar. You're now the firearms czar of the Atlanta Public Schools system, which is a predominantly Black school system. Hilarious. So I got Mick is the guy. He's the one white teacher in Frederick Douglass High School. Mick is teaching us firearms.
This sounds like it could be a bad.
You're like Mr. Flowers. Mr. Flowers is my white teacher, 8th grade. I went to go see him retire. He works with juveniles up in Cobb. He's a great man. But you're our Mr. Flowers. I bring you in there and I say, okay, for all you little dudes who are breaking into Kias and stealing guns and pistols and stuff, you need to know, at least if you're doing this, how to properly do this. You don't accidentally kill a friend. You don't hurt anyone. What's the class like? 9th grade. Boom. We stand. There's 20 of us. We.
If that's our audience, first thing we're going to do is we're going to shoot a cinder block.
Okay.
And I'm going to let you see that cinder block blow up.
So you know what the damage.
Now you know how much you can screw shit up. Then I'm going to show you some pictures, like in our course handout, of a thigh blown apart and a hand blown apart from dudes just screwing around with guns.
Gotcha.
That's a real person. I haven't met them, but a surgeon sent me that picture that I do know that had that guy in the operating room, and now his hand stuck like this.
Yeah.
And that dude's leg doesn't work right anymore, and that one's dead.
Everybody's taking it serious.
Yeah, let's take a look here. And, if you're too stupid to work beyond that, the scripture says some men are made to honor, some for the dung heap. You guys were Christian boys. So I don't know if you're too stupid to look at that and actually appreciate the power of it, then you probably shouldn't ever have.
You know what I like about you as a teacher? Man, the take no shit, be honest teachers were the most effective. You didn't dance around and, hey, if you're too stupid, that would have woke me up.
I think for me, that was the question why I asked who trained you, because in my experiences, even my small experiences in training in martial arts, there was a process where the instructor would go through to see who he was going to teach the most incredibly disgusting stuff based on that student's mindset and maturity. And you just noted that your instructors, you had to take a test to see why did you want to learn how to shoot a gun.
Let her get her.
So we can find out what's your mental capacity and your maturity, and are you just interested in killing people, or do you honestly, wholeheartedly want to learn how to be proficient?
Do you think that this, if we put this in, do you think that this lends more boys to military service? Does it make our community more safer and responsible? Because my community has a problem in that, say, 14 to 24 years old, there's an era where boys, like all boys, just get kind of caught up in wildness and adventure, but they don't
Wildness and adventure.
You know, they don't.
That sounds fun.
It really is.
We should start a camp called Wildness and Adventure.
A shooting camp for the summers. I'm down. I'm with you on that one. But our boys in the cities, the Philadelphias, the Chicagos, the Atlantas, even the smaller cities like the Chattanoogas, the Savannahs, they don't have the option of getting to live feral for a summer. They don't get the option of, man, I didn't get to take Professor
Go running around creek bottoms and
yeah. How do you think? How do we get past this? How do we grow?
I think that if you are going to try to teach these things, we need to understand why. There are certain countries like Switzerland, and I'm not comparing us to Switzerland, but firearm ownership is like a very normalized thing. We have connected firearm ownership in my community where I grew up. It was very abnormal. Like I said, if you weren't a cop or a criminal, you didn't have a gun. So we created a whole couple generations of people that guns are evil unless you're a hunter. You're going to go to the sports club and shoot some sporting clays. You know, guns are fine. I have a shotgun at home and I break clay pigeons every once in a while. No, guns are made. Not guns are made. Guns are made to send a projectile out. But if we are going to use them to stop violence, and make no mistake, they're used I'll say the anti-gun agenda, whatever the power or people are behind that. For example, Anytown. I've tried to communicate with Anytown many times because Anytown now is doing firearms training. I'm like, I'll help you. They hate me. And I'm like, I'm all about it. I'll help you teach people safe, because they just want people that don't pick guns up, accidentally shoot themselves. I'll help you. I'll teach that.
Why wouldn't you use someone from the side who does that for a living? That's what I don't understand about.
I mean, I think that they think maybe I have an ulterior motive. But it's not about guns. We have these guns to protect a society. It's not we have a society so we can have guns. In the society, we got to care about each other. And so I don't think the answer is teaching young boys or girls how to have guns. It's that even if I don't like you, you're still somebody's daughter or son, and I got to care about you enough. I don't even need to look at you. But like when we were kids, there was nobody shooting schools up. There was a few tiny instances. I never knew, and I know there's a myriad of problems around all of that, but people didn't dump rounds into crowds or
absolutely.
That's just like we don't do those things. So
Colin Norris talks about not promoting. Every time something like this happens, it promotes. You know, there's so much press about it. It almost takes some lonely kid stuck in a dark place in his mind to say, this is going to be my last stand. I'm going to make sure the world remembers my name. I'm going to do this. And that's very unhealthy. I guess, I mean, from what I can see from his perspective, I can understand that perspective. When you talk about gun ownership in this country, you talk about responsibility, talk about safety, talk about teaching people younger and showing them the destructive force of a gun. Do we ever get to the point in this country you think guns are banned? Like Australia is very proud to say that.
I think it will take generations. I mean, look, make no mistake. I travel around the country and fill classes up with people that own firearms. Most of them are middle to upper class people. And they vote. They have plenty of money. These guns are not. Nobody's coming to any of these people's houses unless it's the United States Army going door to door. And I've got a lot of friends and customers that are cops, and any one of them will tell you, I ain't going to anybody's house. Not like I'll defy the order. I mean, this could happen in certain cities. I could see, but. There ain't nobody going to Omaha, Nebraska, and knocking door to door.
But they definitely do it in D.C. though. They'll definitely do it in Philadelphia.
Going to Milwaukee.
So what about the places they will do it? Like, if you look at 1984, 85, MOVE was a group of people who had dreadlocks. They appeared to be Rastafaris. They were growing food right there in the buildings. But Philadelphia literally dropped a bomb on them in the 80s. So we do have a time and place now where the state has shown us they'll get physical with us. Is there a moment coming where former soldiers, former service people are forming well-regulated militias away from the United States military? Do you see that happening?
I think that there's some fringe stuff out there. I can't comment on that deep enough because I don't know about that, but I have friends that are colonels and even generals or have retired from those positions. And I've got a lot of friends, many friends from my two brothers to guys that work for me that were all service members. I don't know a single one I've ever met that is interested in either fighting the government or fighting citizens to take their guns away.
Yeah.
I think it's a real thing, though. This is gets me in a lot. What I'm about to say pisses a lot of gun owners off because people think on the I love my guns side, and I make fun of these guys that some of them are my friends, but they think that we can't say anything about anything. Well, we have speed limits because some asshole. We just talked to a guy today. Him and his wife are driving 6 months ago. A guy in the other lane did not maintain his vehicle. A wheel fell off. His car went crazy and hit them head on, almost killed his wife, destroyed her, broke bones. He got all effed up. Guy had no insurance. They're paying for crazy amounts of medical bills because some dude had a flat tire or, couldn't afford to maintain his vehicle. That's no different than... it's very different, but it is a negligent way of entering into this contract with society. I can't make people... We have laws that you have to have a good working motor vehicle. We have laws that you don't drive into oncoming traffic. So I can't make people stop doing criminal shit. A guy named Colonel Cooper kind of like created the modern shooting thing that we have now in the 1960s and 70s. Yeah. It became IPSC and USPSA and IDPA. Cooper said, paraphrasing, basically, an evil man can't be persuaded with words, but you can persuade him with a rifle. He had a much more eloquent way of saying it. Right. And a righteous man can persuade him with a rifle. And I think we almost have to just say, you know what? Okay, I care about people around me, but the biggest and strongest way I can affect those people is to live a certain way. Yeah. You've got a voice, you got a voice. So all the young people that see me or touch me in some way will see that. Not that they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to be just like Uncle Bear and I'm going to study all these things. But at the very least, like that was, we all had men in our lives that were a little North Star. Like that guy was cool. And like he did cool shit. I want to be like him. Or you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Why don't we just have 30 of those guys in every town that show up on time and take care of shit, and like that's what you will emulate. Yeah,
I agree. There's an organization called Next Level Boys Academy, and of course Bear Strong, which is an organization we support.
I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, these organizations encourage kids to be confident, to be competent, and it puts things in their lives that they're absent. Bear Strong is giving away over 50 bikes to kids that are in places where bikes are just no longer. You don't see bikes on Christmas Day. He does that. Next Level Boys Academy, we got you. Next Level Boys Academy takes young men who are having communication problems with one another, meaning they got beef with their parents sometimes, fathers, mothers. Mm-hmm. And Gary Davis is doing an incredible job. But when I think of those kids and their infatuation with firearms, I think of City Council person Antonio Lewis. Antonio Lewis is right here on this side of town, grew up on this side of town, is a City Council person here, and told City Council, hey, we need to use part of the city's budget to buy these gun bags that when you leave your car, because you can't take, if you go to school, you can't take your firearm in there, to lock them in there and lock this around the seat. Sure. So that way the kids that are breaking your windows,
it's not just running away with it. So many guns stolen out of cars.
So many guns. And those guns are finding their way in kids' hands, who are finding their ways into violence, who then find themselves in front of Next Level Boys Academy to keep them out of jail, or in Bear Strong, helping to redefine it, like the Pinnacle program by Judge Oscar Jackson. I just think, man, if we have a Mick, if we have people like you and Maj earlier in these kids' life, these young men in particular, that they get a chance to see guns away from the romanticized versions that movies and music have given them, and gives them a real practical thing. So I hope that.
So speaking from that perspective, I think that there's definitely a way to approach that from a safety thing. Boys are going to be boys, right? Yeah, you're going to burn your mom's tires on the minivan, and you're going to do boy shit. You're going to jump off of roofs into swimming pools. And it's not even about consequences. I mean, you take a kid to the morgue and show him a dead body, and that's not going to make him make better choices. Our brains aren't developing until we're older. We know all this stuff. We need a better operating system, right? The way that our brains are functioning. I have to care about you enough not to want to hurt you. Yeah. And it's not because I want to hug you and just be, some flaccid loser that like everything's, just bullshit. You're somebody. I have to care about you enough that even if I hate you, I respect you enough that you get to go live and do your thing. That's I don't know. I don't understand why that's so difficult.
I was in a room with someone who was being accused. They literally were being accused of being a killer, and this person said, "I don't want to kill old boy, man. You ever seen how he is with his mother and children? I never want to take nobody away from their mother and children like that." Now, I'm in a room full of people who do kill, and the person that said this, it could be alluded to if he shook his head, somebody might end up dead. But the amount of grace that was in his voice when he said that, and the amount of empathy and humanity was in his voice, I had to view this person differently. Like, oh shit, he really has matured and he gets it. And I think that part of gun ownership is in that. If you understand, I have life and death in my hand. Yeah. And a lot of times, because we don't have guys like you teaching it or teaching in schools, we don't get to have that North Star person. And in my community, unfortunately, these things have been so shunned that they are not a strong part of my community in the way they once were. My grandfather made sure I knew how to handle a firearm.
Sure.
My uncles made sure that you knew when and how to shoot. And it seems as though to me that we've kind of let abandon boys, especially in cities, no matter what color you are. Just boys in cities are just kind of, they're taught to be still. They're taught to watch television. They aren't taught. Like I might pop up and see Mick. Mick is on a fucking balancing string doing this. They aren't given incentive to just be feral and be boys. I love that internet clip of the old man in the cowboy hat says, boys aren't supposed to be in school 8 hours, supposed to be locked up, supposed to be free and running until they're exhausted.
Well, that's a societal problem, right? We decided to do this.
So change society for me. What does society look like under firearms czar me?
We are all Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer at heart. We all need to go. Yeah, you're right about that. No, I do think there has to be schooling and education and all that stuff.
Does it have to be 8 hours? Does it have to be 8 hours in a classroom?
She's a 20-year school teacher, multi-master's degree. Mm-hmm. We talk about this stuff all the time, but like we are offloading responsibility, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You teach him how to do this. You teach her how to do that. I mean, we teach our kids everything from basic cooking skills at school to basic auto shop stuff.
We used to. It seems like we're taking it. Yep.
We're coming back, but I just mean all those things take up the day. And I've got friends. I got a friend, Brian, just won Principal of the Year up by us. It's one of the largest high schools in the state of Illinois. He's a stud. He and I disagree on stuff because he's a public educator. So his viewpoint is being a really good person at filling up these hours. And he pushed back. He's going to hear this because he's going to watch it and he's going to be like, that's not at all my thing. But I've had the discussion, like, what is our role as a society? How much do we need to teach these kids? Yeah. I just lost a really good friend of mine to a horrible disease. His name was Kirk. And Kirk had 4 girls, and Kirk would say things like, well, they're grown up and I did my responsibility. They can swim. They can shoot a gun, and he had like this list of things like that was my job that I had to make sure they knew how to do, and they can do it. Like I know they can fight, they can get out of like if the boat capsizes, they'll get to shore. And he was vehement. This dude spoke Latin and all. He knew about every kind of grape and every.
This is like your guy. What's his name? God bless his dead. He was a Marine. He was a motorcycle. What's your name?
Malik Winston Leonard.
Yeah, he was a stud.
Yeah, Winston Leonard, one of my first instructors in the early 90s, who he was a genius. And he died on a motorcycle, a Hayabusa, and he was 27, 28 years old, St. Thomas Island. Yeah, he was like a thrill seeker, but he held black belts in 5 different disciplines, one of which was Way of the Wind, ninjutsu under Ronald Duncan. Grandmaster Ronald Duncan, but he was just a vibrant, energetic, had a vivacious appetite for information. So training, he and my early instructors really pressed upon me to be mentally and emotionally mature, understand that what they're teaching me can determine whether or not I make it home to my family or not, and that I'm representing them and what they've taught me from the people who taught them. So I have a lot.
Yeah, there's an honor thing there.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of honor, and I've now, since you did that crazy ass shit in Illinois at that show, it made me stay out way late. I like, I can say now I'm a fan of yours based on your discipline, based on the amount of time and effort and sacrifice in your training. I'm a fan of yours. Like yeah, I like it. Not that I'm going to be any nicer to you, but
that's funny.
Y'all, so man, y'all are a TV show. Y'all like a new Run the Jewels.
Go ahead.
No. I just want to say, I just wanted to ask, like you present as, or people want to perceive you as a pretty masculine guy. I know you're a deeply sensitive human being. You probably
I'm actually wearing panties right now.
Victoria's Secret, or did you get them from Shein?
I don't know, where we get those? I'm not wearing panties. I don't wear underwear.
Oh, you don't wear? That's right. Let them balls fall. Hey, let me ask you though. Is the world worse off for losing what appears to be more masculine guys? We're not coming with enough mix, man. We need more guys.
Well, first of all, you're giving me too much credit. But
I like you. I'm a fan. So there are other countries that are banning certain programming. They think their guys are becoming too effeminate, or they show like a Ralph Lauren, while doing Ralph Lauren week when the new Ralph Lauren stuff dropped. They show what men models look like in '96 versus what men models look like now. I was like, but them boys in '96, we could have kicked some ass. These boys today, boy, we gonna take some L's. Do you? What message do you have for Americans for masculinity? Is it still valued? Is it still needed, or do we throw it all out?
There's always been. And I'm not a historian, but I'm sure if we hung out with our grandpas, there'd be some dudes that were studs, and there'd be a couple guys that were like, yeah, we're not getting him on the baseball team, right? Maybe, and there's all these studies now on testosterone dropping, the microplastics are ruining our testicles, and endocrine disruptors and all this shit. Dude, there's a study that started like 15 years ago that the perineum, the taint, okay, they're measuring base of the penis, check this out, to the taint, to the base of the penis, to the center of the anus is literally shrinking in infant boys. And then that boy produces less testosterone than his father. Then his DNA produces less testosterone in his offspring.
Oh, shit.
And so, like, our grandfathers were walking around at 1,200, testosterone.
Man's man.
Yeah.
That's why your grandfather had you.
Now everybody's driving electric cars now.
That is like a legitimate medical study.
Getting softer and softer.
Yeah,
and
so
softer.
The taint is shrinking.
Dude, it's legit.
That explains
I'm gonna send you the study.
All right, nigga, I gotta read that.
I'm gonna send you. It's not a single study. It's basically you want a big taint.
Yeah, you want a big taint. That's right.
This is legit, but.
Every guy's gonna be like this.
Measure my shit. Hey, doc, measure my son's shit. I need to know.
It's real. So I think there's a medical thing.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, we're driving in a snowstorm a few weeks ago. We live up in the north. We're going hunting.
Yeah.
We're doing all the northern things, and cars in the ditch. It's a whiteout blizzard. It's very cold. Her and our daughter are in the car. We're in the middle of nowhere. And so I pull over, and it's a dude in a pickup truck. He's got a shitty little 2-wheel drive pickup truck. He's way off the road. He's got a dog. So I'm going to pull him out, and we're talking, and he's got a guy that stops that's going to help him. That's his buddy. So I'm like, if you guys are good, I got ladies. I'm going to get off the road. There's cars coming. I don't want to be here. And his friend's like, well, if you're here, you do it. I'm like, this is your freaking friend.
It's
I don't
your
even
dog.
know you
You're supposed to be there
You
for your
don't
man.
have the balls.
So I don't want to pull all the chains and shit out of my truck if I don't have to and get everything. I'm soaking wet by this time.
Cold as
From
shit.
sweat.
Well, and snow is sideways.
Okay.
It's blowing snow. And so I go, do you have chains and shit? I'll help you hook up. And he goes and gets ratchet straps out of his car. Like that you'd, strap a freaking package down. And I'm like, you're not pulling a pickup truck. So I'm like, God damn it. So I go get all my stuff. I rip him out of the ditch. And I told him, I'm like, dude, he doesn't even have a coat. And I'm like, and this is like a 25-year-old guy. I'm like, are you drunk? Are you stupid? Like, you're 20 miles from town. It's a whiteout blizzard. I'm like, you're just dumb. You got no coat. You're driving a car with bald tires. And I get it. I've been broke.
Yeah, we all been on our ass.
Like, I would have never been stranded on the side of the road, like begging somebody to help me. I've needed it. I've had to get pulled out of the ditch. like anybody can get stuck, but like your homie shows up and he's got like, you guys don't even have like the proper equipment.
Yeah, like I don't even see the male bonds and friendships. Like when you talk about your friends, it's almost like I can see them when Bear talks. But
my friend Derek, city manager, world national champion. My friend Dan Hart owns like 10 businesses.
Yeah.
Runs our jiu-jitsu gym, super stud, state champ, and running and shit. Brian, Division I football player, MMA fighter, the super principal. Like, that's the guys I want to hang out with.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody can't have like friends that are studs, but the whole birds of a feather thing.
Yeah.
Well, if we just like want to make ourselves excellent, what are you laughing at? What? Lay it on me. Tell me.
I'm just supposed to be here today, man.
No, you're not.
As a student, I'm supposed to be here
what
today.
What do you got to say?
To confirm my theories and beliefs about the science of you just gave me
about
some
the taint
science
or something else.
This is about it is about the taint. It is about that.
Don't let you pass short, boy. Keep that.
Hey man, let me tell you something, brother. And I'm also a cyclist. One of the hardest things outside of
I hate you guys when I'm on the road. You guys think you own the freaking road. You got your little tight ass pants.
Look, outside of Shaolin Kung Fu, cycling has been the most difficult, physically and mentally difficult thing that I've ever done, endurance-wise. And I can't get any of my friends to do it with me.
I'm gonna fucking go.
I think you have. We need to do hard things. I have another friend, Aaron Cooper.
But the problem is when you're like I've lost 95 over the last 2 years, but man, you don't want to be 400 pounds and no biker short, man.
You don't have to wear the biker shorts.
But I'm just saying,
is that what's holding you back?
Yeah, like for real, man.
The gear is holding you back.
Yes, man. I don't want to wear biker shorts, man.
I want to see these.
Like, yeah, you see what I'm saying?
I want to see this.
Like me to the car. Big Michael. I saw you in the biker shorts.
You be filming.
And you, all right. So then he got me on the trail bike shit. Like, oh, I fuck with a trail bike. He breaks his goddamn shoulder on the trail bike.
You wiped out?
Oh, boy.
Never get me in the mountains. Exactly. And it happens too fast to roll out.
This is the year,
out?
Huh?
Something run in front of you or something?
A stump.
Oh.
A stump, an unfamiliar bike, and I hit the brakes and just...
This is the year for me, though. I'm getting on a bike, yeah.
My friend Cooper was an Army Ranger, has done many a hard thing. Years ago, him and his brother, he knew that he was going to get married and settle down. So for fun, he took his dirt bike, a DR650. It's a dirt bike with lights on it, and rode from Chicago to Tierra del Fuego, the tip of South America. I mean, like, this is on with a stock seat. It's like sitting on this table just so he could say he did it. He had to ship it home in pieces because he just rode the parts off of it, and it's in pieces in his garage. I keep telling him, like, put it together in the living room or something. But he bicycles, and so for fun, he'll just, like, on a Saturday go ride 200 miles just so that he knows he can make himself do it. I don't do any crazy stuff like that.
You're not from the David Goggins school? Because that's very
David
Goggins.
I know guys that know him personally, but, like, I don't want to, my goal, live a long, full life. Blowing my hips out or, like,
it is wear and tear.
Blowing my kidneys up because I'm so dehydrated I'm pissing blood.
Yeah.
No. Can I run 3 or 4 miles if I had to? Can I grapple with some guys and save my life? Can I shoot guns a little bit? I can drive for 12 hours straight and still be, still be conscious. I can do enough at 48 that I feel pretty good about my capacity.
Yeah.
I do plenty of hard shit, but different things. There's guys that ride bikes don't want to work on a marketing thing for 5 days straight like I do. So their dump is to go ride the bike, where I will sit and, like, finish whatever the thing is. So I think that it's your question about the masculinity thing. I think if we had fathers that raised sons to be good men, we would not hear phone calls like I did today where some prick raped a girl because he was too much of a loser to actually get a girl to like him because he was a good person, right? So, like, it's not just like, tell your son not to rape chicks. How about don't be a fuckstick and girls will like you?
Yeah.
And that just seems really simple to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And as
Should I not have said fuck stick?
No, I love all your shit.
I'm telling you, Mick's a man. I fuck with
I like you.
We got to bring him back. You got to fuck with him.
Fuck it. Can I ask what different systems of martial arts you've trained in?
Jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, some Muay Thai, boxing a little bit. So Cooper, my friend Cooper, was one of the founding members of the Army Combatives program. Pretty cool. Matt Larson. Guys know Tim Kennedy was part of that. Whatever you think about Tim, I don't know him. He's not a friend, but it was like basic striking, Muay Thai, Western boxing.
What system you like the best in terms of engaging in the street? What do you think will get you out of there?
True Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has become bastardized.
Not the sport.
Yeah,
So
like true Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu included striking and blocking and kicks. I feel that we're training for violence. My coach's coach, Henry Akins, trained with like the greatest jiu-jitsu guy of all time. Hickson Gracie was his sensei. He actually ran Hickson School. They're in Costa Rica right now doing a seminar. I think you can train that longer if you have training partners that don't destroy you. You can be, I'm with guys. I was just with a guy at class. He's 60. His name's John Jenkins. He's a total badass black belt, and he rolls around with 20-year-olds. He's super sturdy because it's, it's like kind of like Tai Chi or yoga where your body is used to moving. Yeah. And if you have people that are not trying to hurt you, it's become like Taekwondo did in the 80s where these strip malls existed and you're 8 years old and are a black belt and you don't know shit. So it is... To be a black belt in jiu-jitsu used to be a 10-year process, if not longer. And it is, I think, becoming a little more watered down. But true jiu-jitsu, I think, if it's passed on correctly, it's grappling. This stuff is way older than anybody alive. It's thousands of years old. The Greeks were naked, grabbing onto each other.
And from my research, it started in Kemet.
Yeah, I was going to say, and in terms of with the Greeks with wrestling, but even beyond that, when we talk about Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the largest body of African DNA outside of Africa is Africa, and it's Brazil. I'm sorry. So a lot of Brazilian jiu-jitsu actually comes out of Kemet. It comes out of an African system.
You guys try
of
to just take everything for your own.
No, man, no.
Judo is like the base bloodline of jiu-jitsu.
But check, no.
I'm wrestling, organized
wrestling. Yeah, there's a guy named Mansa Musa who's the richest man ever in the world. He was in West Africa. Well, he had a brother before him that was king. His brother loaded up a bunch of ships one day, said, I'm going to sail to this other land, and you're probably never going to see me again. They never saw his brother again.
Where'd he go?
His brother went to a place called South America. Oh. And there's stories of tribes that met and intermingled, and there's West African style huts that were made there.
That were the same style.
Yes. And a lot of times I want people who don't look like me, who look like Mick, to know when we're saying this. A lot of times black people saying this, they're not looking to say we're the first, we're the best, you weren't there, as much as they're looking for a commonality. You can't mention Brazil without mentioning Africa because they ship so many Africans there.
It's pretty easy to understand that all life came from Africa. I think everybody agrees.
You heard I had a white man saying that. But a lot of people don't want to say, and it's neither here nor there as much as just saying we are common. We have these things in common.
I was just playing.
No, I'm talking about it's the people who watch these comments and they look at Mike and Mick being friends as somehow, Mick, you've betrayed us, and Mike, somehow you betrayed us.
If somebody is that stupid, don't ever follow me. Don't ever look at my shit.
They're that stupid and
don't
they do
email. Don't call me. Don't
Part of the
message
reason I had to have you in here today, I called everybody on off there and had to come in, is because, Mick, we represent something that I preach and I teach people about daily. Find a friend who is not like you, who doesn't look like you, who has not grown up like you, who may not even be a part of the same spiritual system. Because the commonalities that you'll find, you'll have a lot more than you think you do, but it makes it impossible to stereotype. I can't stereotype white Anglo-Saxon Protestant white men or people in the same way because I have friends that happen to be that. And I know every white person does not act like a Kevin or a goddamn Karen. You know what I mean? I know that you just left Florida with 4 black former law enforcement officers. 5. You know what I mean? And if you're like me, you were nervous about how you smelled. You came to I came around my cousin's chief of police where we're sitting, smelling like weed. Like, goddamn, you fucked that up, Mike. But our friendship is valuable to me because it grows me. Yeah, and I like to say it grows me. I never would have thought some of the challenges you face, and man, you have such a grace about you. You have such a in a hardened heart, you have a very empathetic soul for other people. And most of what I've learned from you comes from a place that I interpret as wanting to protect or see those that deserve to be protected. And I just admire you, brother. You have taught through Kerry Trainer following you and that brand in this very polarized place that we sit. You build trust in a controversial space amongst people who don't look at each other. So as an instructor,
who don't look like each other. I'm
sorry. What makes you put people in the room who don't even all the time come from the same place?
Well, do you put them, or do they want to be there? Because I want to be.
I think we've got a pretty vast ethnicity. We had a guy come from. He was Chilean. We had a Cubano. Yeah. We had a Dominican. We had, of course, a bunch of people that looked like me. We had the
five of my guys.
Yeah, we had those guys. Yeah, I think what it is we're not emulating. There's some real militaristic stuff, which is cool. There's a place for that. I've got buddies that are Green Berets or SWAT cops that have a skill set that is, if that's what you're looking for, there might be something there. Or maybe like the dude is teaching you like a drill sergeant would.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, and if that's your thing and that's what you want, I'm very. I talk like this while we're training. But loud, and safety's an absolute. Like, we can't have somebody get hurt. But I think we just try to create an environment where you can come and have fun, and I don't give a shit what your mother's country of origin.
I tell you this, you seem to be recreating a real community, not just followers. Part of the reason I started following you, the black guys that I knew who had been former military cops and stuff, the guys that I trusted, they were following you. You know what I mean? And you seem to encourage people that I've seen your classes aren't so hard that people aren't encouraged to speak to one another, smile at one another. I've seen you joke at classes, and I haven't even attended classes much. I've just been watching, but I think me and Bear are going to commit ourselves to coming out.
Would like to.
We're going to come out.
If you'll have me.
Yeah, if you'll have
we'll send an application out.
See if you can get a letter of goodwill from the state. Man, I wanna on the outro, I just want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for the relationship.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely,
it means a lot.
And is there anything before we part? Because I got to do your podcast soon too. Is there anything you want my audience or the grander audience to know? As anything you've picked up in the last few years? Like for me, I think all Americans should own 5 guns. You should have a shotgun. You should have a legitimate rifle. You should have a semi-automatic pistol. You should have a revolver. And you should have just like one of the, what did I say? Shotgun, rifle, pistol, revolver.
You want an AR, right?
Yeah, I do want an AR.
I think all of that stuff is awesome. If you have it, you should have something to lock it in.
Yep.
Secure It Tactical is the company I love. Secure It Tactical is.
Tell them again one more time.
Secure It Tactical. They make like easy access stuff as well as like stuff that the U.S. military uses.
If they'd like to send me some stuff to try, Secure It Tax.
SecureItTactical.com. I think if I was going to leave people with something, it would be this simple thing.
Give it to them, man.
You're going to die.
Yep.
I'm going to die. Somebody's going to look at your corpse or your ashes and remember you. And I don't want to do this so that you go to a cemetery and there's these huge, monstrous things that somebody spent $1 million on because they wanted you to be like, oh, that's Mr. Smith or Mr. Jones. Fuck that guy. I mean, that's how ridiculous, really? I mean, like, I'm gone. I mean, that 10 years after he's gone, nobody gives a shit. How about do something where some kid goes, I was, as you were talking, I was just remembering a guy, his name was John McClendon.
Yeah.
The first, I would say, true friend I had that was black, and he was an adult, and I was a teenager. We'd go to the movies. We'd hang out. He was part of my dad's church.
Yeah.
My sister was friends with his daughter, so I'd like drive her over there. We'd sit and watch ball games and stuff. But he was super cool, and he was an engineer for Northrop Grumman.
Yeah.
Super sharp dude, and like came up from nowhere, made himself an engineer at this huge company, but like taught me all kinds of stuff that he didn't have to. I wasn't his kid, but took the time to just be like a cool dude. You're going to die. Like, why not pass on something nice to a child or to whoever, and then not to make you remembered, but that then they do something nice.
And that's why I love you, Mick. Thank you, man. I appreciate you so much, bro. Real shit.
It was a good time.
It really,
the handshake. Every time I shake a black man's hand, I'm always like, "Fuck, I'm gonna fuck it
so
up." I don't know what they're gonna do.
So let me give you this. All right. So California, if you get the handshake, they respect you, right? If it's limp or soft, it's some sucker shit. California, they do this, and then they do the bump. I'm just giving you the Cali bump because I didn't know it.
Okay.
But if a black guy does this to you,
then you'd go to here.
You're legit. But you're legit. Like if they give you the double, it's like Obama when he was shaking those people's hands. It's genuine. Like you not only invited to the barbecue, man. You got a space under the tree when hanging with the old man.
I'm gonna give you the Steven Seagal handshake that he gave me.
Okay.
You ready?
Do I need a knife?
No, you don't need a knife.
All right. Did he?
Love you, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Hey, man, Conversate. We are having some interesting conversations with people that we find interesting, that people you can listen, love, and learn from. Thank Mickey, man. He has been an instructor. He has been a friend. He's been a confidant. And I appreciate him greatly, man. So, rock with him, man. Carry Trainer is who you should be following. Yeah, my grandfather says you're not a man if you don't have a knife. So I
brought you guys some knives. I forgot they were in my pocket.
Shut the fuck up.
So this is from my friend at Regiment Blades. This is a good friend of mine. This is the folder.
Okay.
So this goes in your pocket. You take it out, and it's a punch knife. You ever see me stab the trash cans?
Yes.
So these are what I stab the trash cans. This is for you. Because this one...
Why better get the one out the fresh out the pack?
I just was looking at the knife the other day.
Take it easy. I'll get you more.
One of my instructors teaches Kumtao.
This one is non-metallic. So nothing on this is metallic. You shove this...
put
this in your belt line or around your neck, either. So it can be on your neck, or you put this around your belt, and you bury this in your pants, and you can draw. I've stabbed that through trash cans. It's made of G10.
That's pretty dope.
It's for him because of his job. Okay? And then here's a metallic version of it. A true warrior, a friend of mine years ago, handed me a knife after a training. His name's Frankie. He came from the #1 unit the Army has. And he handed me a knife, and he said, the #1 gift a man can give another man is a blade. So I gave you mine. This is the one I carry. So
my grandpa gave me my first blade, and I owe my daughter a blade.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mick.
Thank you.
All right, love and respect, guys. Thank y'all. Conversate, Killer Mike. Yeah.
My name's Michael Render. They call me Killer Mike, and this is Conversate. I just want to conversate. I just want to conversate, which I want to convert. Conversate's not a real word, but I encourage questioning. I want to encourage thought. I want to conversate. I want to have discussions with people that I may not agree with, or that I may not understand, and try to gain perspective. I think we all should be doing that. We all should be in talk. We all should be in a constant state of talking, because that's what precedes organizing and mobilizing and revolutionizing and changing things. I believe in the power of conversation. I believe in Conversate. So I'm here to talk. I'm here to talk, and I'm here to listen and learn. And I'm here to have people impress upon me different ways and thoughts and mentality. I believe in conversation. I believe in jive, talking, and rapping. What you call it? I'm a rapper. I'm rapping. But before rappers were rapping over beats for money, I want to exchange some respect with one another. So we're gonna conversate. We're gonna check it out. Yeah. Conversate with Killer Mike.
Hey, y'all got a question for my crew? You want to talk to me, Bear Swift, or anybody and ask them something? I want you to come check us out at conversatewithkillermike@gmail.com. Send your questions in, send your thoughts and concerns, and we're going to make sure we get them up online, whether we discussed, talked about, and hey, we even might invite you on the show. Let's conversate.